TIZZ TALK Podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the TIZZ Talk Podcast. I know it's been some time since we've been back. I apologize, fam. I really do. And I don't even need to say my name, but guess what? I got a returning original special guest next to me, Daddystaxx, aka Jared the homie. What's up, dog?
What's going on, TIZZ fam?
You just literally put your face out of the camera when you did that.
I wanted to make
It's all
sure it
good.
sounded nice and clear on the mic.
You're doing it again. Here, let me do this. All right, Tiz, we're gonna move each other. Now you can do that. No, you're good. All right. Anyway,
What up, TIZZ fam?
drinking water. Anyways, guys, fam, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Tiz. Y'all like the new logo? What's good with it? You know, I just spent 30 minutes of my life designing that shit earlier. You know, how to keep it. You got to stay relevant these days. But man, a lot's happened since the last show, and the last show we did was with Scotty Jeffries, the one and only fucking actor from Machete. Shout out Scotty. And Too Woke and Mopey was on there too, man. That was a good episode. Presidential Status, I think, was the title episode. But we wanted to come at you guys with some heat because it is September 8th. So it's been a good 3 months. Shit. And lots of things, honestly, that we basically let the whole summer go by without dropping one. That's my fault. That's all my fault.
Well, we did try to drop one.
They were undroppable. Oh wait,
Oh,
we just
shit.
got our third joiner here. Hold on, let me get him in here real quick. Nice, dude. This thing works out really good, man. Shout out
Yo,
to
keep him down there, bro.
Well, hold on. Nah, dude. All right. So, man, this thing works out pretty good, dude, without a green screen. Yo, Sean, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's happening?
Oh man, we just kicked it off. So let me do a quick introduction. I mean, we all have call names or call signs here. I mean, I'm Tiz, you got Daddystaxx
He's Smurf.
over here. No, you were the Smurf on the last one, but we got the homie Sean on the line, and he can give himself a call name. But if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, since Jared's introduced himself to the show about 20 times at this point.
All right. Big Papa Smurf. How about that?
I like that. I like that. Papa Smurf, Papa Smoke, you know.
His last name's has Murph in it, so S Murph, Smurf.
Okay. Well, either way, man, I'm glad. Yeah, I was talking to Daddystaxx over here earlier. I was like, man, I'm overdue for a show, man. I'm letting the listeners just hang by a thread at this point. It's been, I don't know, 3 months, and he was like, oh, dude, let's get the homie Sean on the line, dude. Smurf, you know, Papa Smurf over here. So I was like, dude, let's do it, bro. Let's do it, because honestly, I got a lot of things I'd like to cover and go over, but you know, Daddystaxx is telling me a little bit about, I guess, in more detail what you guys kind of got going on, and we can dive into that. But what's up, brother? I mean, how you been? I think it's been at least, I know I met you
5 months, 6 months.
Yeah, it might have been more than that, man. It's something like that. I think when we talked last, yeah, it was over Discord. Y'all were just chilling over at Daddystaxx's house. But that's cool, man. Yeah, I heard you're on the road right now.
Yep, on the road, driving from Spokane, Washington, out to Billings, Montana.
So how's the road life treating you, man? Like, I've always wanted to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I've it's just been a dream of mine to just get in the van or the truck or whatever and just hit it, you know, hit the road.
Road life is all right. I like it. I do it for my work, so it starts to get old after a little while. But like heck, I just went and spent a week in West Glacier National Park, just seeing the sights. After I went and sold a couple $1 million in projects.
And that's the roofing business, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been learning or trying to understand as much as I could soak in. And a matter of what 24 hours, I guess, from what Daddystaxx over here. But yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. Like again, like I watch a lot of these guys on YouTube that just turn their van into some kind of living space and just kind of hit the road with it. And just man, they just live pretty free. And I know you're doing it for work. I get that, but it's got to be there's got to be some peace to that, dude. Like, I mean, just being stuck in the city kind of sucks sometimes, but I'm not gonna lie.
Well, after a while, you start to miss routine, but that's part of the reason why I do this is to just not lead a normal life.
That's what I'm
Get
talking
away
about,
from
dude.
what everyone else does, who does the 9 to 5, who caps their income at $100,000 a year, and has to clock in and answer to somebody.
That's dope, dude. It really is. I envy you, bro. I really do. I mean, I know there's pros and cons to everything, but I really do envy that lifestyle. I've
Yeah,
always kind of been like a no bad.
you deal with a lot of angry Karens who don't want you to look at their roof and they have damage and they need you more than you need them, but they don't want to give you the time of day.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating part. You're trying to give away a service that someone else is paying for. Then you get a huge tax deduction for doing it, but for some reason they call you a scam artist and think that it's not legitimate, or yeah, it's just dumb.
And I can relate to that, man, as a commercial real estate professional, calling on mostly on the tenant rep side, where I've always been calling on tenants and that basically lease or potentially want to own. In my services, and I make it very clear that there is no cost associated with it. At the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is look out for their best interest, because when it's all said and done, I get paid by the seller or the landlord, and they don't sometimes they just don't care. I feel that. I know it's a little different, but I totally can relate to that. It is a frustrating thing, and I get that, man. So, but yeah, dude, that's awesome, bro. And that's cool, man. So how long you been on the road?
Well, August 1st is this little stint here. Is when I got on the road for this trip. Took 2.5 months off and just hung out in Florida. So yeah.
Nice. That's tight, man. I hope you brought some fishing poles or something with you, bro.
I got a set of golf clubs, hit the driving range every once in a while.
That's something
I don't drink, I don't leisurely drink, so fishing isn't really my sport.
I can hear that. Down here, at least in Texas, and you go fishing with a big group of people, I mean, you're cracking beers at like 6:30 a.m. sometimes. But like, man, when I go out by myself, though, like I'm usually just not drinking for the most part. But that's cool, man. How's the weather out there, man? I know you've been trying to chase the hailstorms and stuff.
Yep. Well, surprisingly, this Montana is stupid hot. It's hotter than Florida. It's been like 95, almost 100 degrees. But weather's been all right. I don't know.
That's cool. That's what's up. Are you near the oh my God. Oh, Mount Rushmore. Is that South Dakota?
That's South Dakota, yeah.
South Dakota. Okay. Yeah, I've never been up. I've been up there. I've been to Montana, like where Idaho, Montana, Wyoming kind of meet, like over there in Yellowstone, but it's always been dead of winter, it's fucking freezing cold. But, we go out there to snowmobile and shit. It's cool. It's cool.
That's fun shit.
No, it is. It is. Jared, did you ever go with Kimbo Slice?
No.
I can't remember.
Never.
No.
I go to Colorado a lot though.
Yeah, I know you do. Didn't you go this summer?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Aspen, baby. What does Jim Carrey say? Or the whatever the fucking Dumb and Dumber, bro. Are you too young for that? You probably don't know. Anyway, someone could correct me on that. Well, that's cool, man. I appreciate you guys coming on the show again. I know we've been slacking and that's just become a typical thing here, but wanted to go over some stuff, man. I mean, we're gonna kind of wing this. The big thing, I know that today, with everything else that's going on in the world, Queen Elizabeth II did pass away today, man. 96 years old. And not that you pick and choose the time you go, but man, Europe's going through some shit right now. And to top it all off with everything they're going through, she passed today. And I remember I woke up this morning and I saw something saying that like the doctors were there and they were concerned about her health. But you see that kind of stuff all the time. And then I went and did some stuff for work and I come back and I popped on YouTube, opened up my stock charts, and then boom, I heard the guy that I listened to on YouTube. He was just like, Queen Elizabeth died, dude. So today was kind of a pretty historic day. I know they were doing jets flying over Britain earlier, or maybe that was several hours ago. But
You know what they're doing over here at Tulane?
what's that?
They're doing they're having a Boston Twee party. So you drink twisted teas in honor of Queen Elizabeth's death.
You see, I thought she was one of those immortal lizard people. Just never was gonna die.
Like
Me
Mark
too, bro.
Zuckerberg.
I never looked a lot into Queen Elizabeth. Interesting character, interesting person she was, but at the same time, it's like you just even as a kid, you kind of grow up, you hear the Queen of England, this and that. You don't really think much about it, but man, it's kind of surreal to be around or aware of when this kind of stuff happens. And I haven't looked into it too much, and I can share screens in a little bit, but do you guys know who's going to be the successor to her? Like who's taking who takes
I
the
don't know.
place?
I don't know. I'm the least
No,
qualified person to answer that.
Wouldn't it have been Princess Diana? Like
I would,
that
yeah, right. Wouldn't have been or Prince Charles. Yeah, I don't know,
Prince
bro.
Charles?
I
We
guess.
know that
And
Meghan chick can't really be queen. It just doesn't work.
yeah.
She's not from England.
Yeah, and oh yeah, you know what? Sorry. First thing, I'm an idiot. First thing I see right here, I pull up the article that I pulled up like an hour ago. So, world mourns Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's bastion of stability. I think that's the word of it. Buckingham's palace said the Queen, who was 96, died peacefully at Balmoral Castle, her estate in the Scottish Highlands. Her son became Britain's new monarch. So it is King Charles III.
All right.
So when was the last time there was a king of England?
Well, a long time ago, since she lived to be a dinosaur.
Yeah, because she was 96. So
She was ruling for over 70 years.
Yeah, so he is Britain's first king since 1952, taking the name King Charles III. Wow. So a historical day on that, and we can touch on that a little bit, but it's been a crazy couple of months, at least if you follow the stock market. You're following what's been going on with this whole inflation situation and these rate hikes, and then you got just recently this whole Russian Gazprom shut off to Germany, which has caused
You
all
got
sorts of
California not being able to have electricity.
and they've been dealing with that for I feel like a long time now, but I feel like they were able to somehow avoid it or fix it for the past decade or so. At least you didn't hear too much about it, but man, now it's become
It's bad right now.
No, I know. I mean, I heard what's his name, Josh, on YouTube saying, hey, at 4 o'clock, my internet might be turned off. I might not be able to do a YouTube stream. I was like, dude, it's like that, huh? I mean, and it is. I mean, it's kind of like what happened here during that freeze, or here in Houston, at least, back when the ERCOT thing. I mean, that was a fucking nightmare, dude. And Sean, I don't know if you were here for that, the snowpocalypse or snowvid, or you were here.
Yep.
Okay, so that.
I was doing mitigation work, selling projects for pipe bursts.
See, that was a wild time because I lived in a condo at that moment, and my all the pipes froze. I had to bust out all my walls. I mean, that was wild, and didn't have electricity for a week or so at some point. I mean, it was kind of off and on. At least the heater was out, the heater was out, but that was crazy. And the weather, which I'm sure you guys are pretty aware of all this. I mean, we haven't had any hurricanes or anything, at least down here this year. And I think
No.
it's because it's a La Nina. It's like a La Nina, like a 2 year like in a row La Nina thing is from what I read. And so apparently that makes
Well, Hurricane Prediction Center actually was predicting this was going to be one of the worst hurricane seasons on record.
I feel like they say
And
that
so
every
far,
year.
it's
But I
no.
also feel like hurricane season gets delayed more and more every year, so it could be a delayed hurricane season.
It could.
Could be like Hurricane Michael didn't hit till August 30th or something. I mean, not August, October
October.
30th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been some that hit in like late November too. I mean, it really, and I know this just because like I've been surfing for a long time, and I try and not chase the storms, but I'm you know actively looking and
Yeah.
monitoring when they're coming in, and we
Surf
just
is
haven't had
better.
it. It is. I mean, it's better for us here in Texas when they kind of go up east towards Louisiana. You get the clean side of the storm. The wind, the offshores is when they go into like east or sorry west South Texas, east west
Yeah.
South Texas. You get that nasty side of the storm, but we just really haven't had any of it this year, and which inevitably has made the surf just absolute shit this year. But um, yeah, it's kind of weird. And there's been years where, bro, like I've seen hurricanes or storms form out in the Atlantic and go up near kind of Europe, like late or even early in May. So it's, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen. This is some crazy shit going on in the world. These storms, bro. Like, but what are you gonna do? I mean, I've heard about cloud seeding and all this shit, but I don't know enough about all that stuff. I really don't. Yeah. Jared, do you know anything about that? Where what
Cloud
cloud
seeding,
seeding
where
is?
they fabricate clouds and put them in the
I
sky.
Yeah, I mean,
They do it
uh,
in droughts and stuff like that.
I don't know enough about it. I've watched some stuff on YouTube sort of about it though, where they go over they've been talking to like farmers and stuff like out in West Texas, so like even California, I guess. Where these people are like, yeah, fuck it, dude, do it. Like we're starved. We ain't making no money down here, and supposedly they can get up in the sky and somehow train these clouds to produce precipitation. I don't know. And
No,
is
they
that like,
build they release clouds from the ground and they let them up into the air. They're man-made clouds,
well, whatever the process is,
and
I don't know.
they rise, and then when they get up there, they dump on
Is
to
that
whatever's beneath it.
if that's what it is? I don't know enough about it, but it's all just interesting, dude. And I just watch a lot of YouTube, so I can basically just go off of anything I see on there. But at the end of the day, I have no idea, dude. It's out of my realm. Did he? Did Papa Smurf freeze over here?
Yeah, dude, he probably has bad reception.
It's all good. He can always hop back if he wants. He's just his screen's just frozen. He's driving.
Oh
All
no.
right. Well, he knows how to get back. We can keep going. But anyways, um, Daddystaxx, what's up, man? You've been playing. I know we've all been playing the market quite a bit this summer. Um, and I know we were talking about some Q puts today. Did you
Yep.
take this? You took this? I know it ran
Yeah, I
up at
did.
the end of the. It's all good. It's all good. Hey man, if it gaps
It's
down
fine.
tomorrow, that'd be great. They were
I just
cheap.
I think this little run we've had the past day and then like 2 days is over. I think it's done. I think it
Yeah, and
was
I agree.
all the hype that was making it run is kind of over, and I think it's gonna come back down.
Well, look back what happened in fucking July and most of August. Like the S&P 500. I'm gonna just relate to the SPY here real quick. TIZZ gang. If y'all don't follow, you can look up the stock ticker SPY. But yeah, when you popped off, we kind of just merged over. Me and Jared were just kind of talking about the market real quick. Do you play the market at all?
No, I don't. I gotta make more money before I feel comfortable gambling.
Hey man, more power to you, bro. Like, don't be a DJ like me and Jared over here because I've lost plenty of money doing it, and it's like gambling, bro. I can't help myself. I enjoy it though. Like, I really do like enjoy doing technical analysis, charting, and all that. But at the same time, sometimes I just can't help myself, bro. I'll just jump into these option plays, and whether I win or lose, like I'm just gonna keep doing it, bro. Like,
It's
you got to stay in
calculated
it.
gambling, is what it
It
is. Calculated
it is,
gambling,
and that's kind of
but
what.
it's still gambling.
No,
Could lose it
it
all.
is. Yeah, I've lost plenty, a lot. Yeah, but I look at it as a learning experience. At least that's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I don't know if you follow it at all, but like, it's funny. I was driving around today. I was I was listening to Ross Boland podcast actually. When that ended, he didn't have any more episodes. I'm up to speed with all his shit, right? So I just was like, oh, I just put on an old TIZZ Talk episode, and I put on the Omicron episode of TIZZ Gang. It's the one we did back in, I think it was in November of last year, and we called it Living in the Omniverse because we were kind of we were talking shit about metaverse, and Omicron thing had just come out, but we were talking about, or Jared, you asked a good question. You were asking me and Tuok, you specifically, and I had to send this to both of you guys today. I was like, holy shit, like, because you were like, what do you guys think, or what are your predictions on the market for the next 6 to 12 months? And I immediately was just like, I think it's going to be bearish as shit. Like, I don't see it going up anymore. I mean, we've hit all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs. And
When was that?
it was like around Thanksgiving, December, early December.
November,
It
December,
was late December, yeah, late
late
November, early.
November.
And I pulled up the charts, and we were going over the 200-day moving average, how it was kind of starting to bend a little bit. And you were like, no, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And sure enough, bro, like, look where we're at now.
A month later, it was
A
your
month
like,
later, I know. Yeah. I mean, and
and
now
you were
we're
crazy. You pulled all your money out of your long term holdings, and that was the peak. That literally was the peak.
I know, and I'm not one to say I called the top. I just didn't like what I was seeing. When you start seeing like those indexes start selling like that on these random, like the Omicron thing happened and everything sold off. But that was one out of 5 times that I've seen it. I was just like, I don't like this, and I kept seeing everything hit all time highs. I was like, you know what, like, take profits. I just didn't like it. So I basically liquidated everything that I had in long term, which wasn't like a significant amount of money, but it was, it was a decent amount. And most people who've been in the market for a long time, no, you don't do that. You stay in it. You stay in it and you just scale in on these dips or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, whatever, I'm out. And
Yeah.
so I've just been playing these options, these short term options now, without the long term puts and calls, because you can bet if it's going up or down. You can bet on the direction and be right about the direction, man. But if you don't get that strike price correct and too much time goes by, your contract will go to shit. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it was just crazy because we were talking about this and I was like, holy shit. I mean, we literally, I mean, even Tuok was saying, he's like, when everybody's piled in and it's just up, the manipulated market, these market makers, institutions, hedge funds, whatever, they're going to start fucking selling that shit off. I mean, eventually, I mean, if you look back, and I could pull a chart up in a little bit and go back and show you what we're talking about here. Webull, for any of you gang members out there that are trading or whatever, I like to use Webull. A lot of people don't like it. They use TradingView, this, that, and the other. But this is the SPY, which is basically the S&P 500. If you don't know what the S&P 500 is, you get the fuck out of here. No, I'm just kidding. It's it's basically the index that has 500 of the largest companies in it. But the SPY is the ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Fund. It tracks the S&P 500. It actually makes it tradable. You can buy options, you can buy stock. Not going to go all into that. But this is the daily chart. So each one of these candles you see is a daily, is a day. And so this is COVID, right? So this is like 2018, 2019, and then This is when the Fed was hiking rates the last time, and then we just so conveniently had COVID, and then they stopped. It sold off. I mean, it was a pretty decent sell off, came down, and these lines you see are the white line is the 50-day moving average, the purple is the 100, and the like orangish one is the 200-day moving average. And what you'll see is, I mean, this is a straight classic V-shaped recovery. It's because the government, put all the stimulus in the economy, and it just drove everything back up. And basically what you're seeing here is it's staying above the 50, 100, and 200-day moving average for the most part. And then right about here, this is about the moment I pulled out of the market. This is like December-ish, November, December of 2021. And what you'll notice what's interesting to me is as soon as the beginning of the year came, I mean, we topped out at like 476, almost 480, all-time high on the SPY. So this is I mean, if you didn't make money here, Jesus,
dude, that's like close to. I mean, dude, the market peaked before COVID around like 320, and then after COVID, it climbed all the way to 476. And it's like, if you really think about it realistically, like how have we as a company, as a country, grown that significantly since pre-COVID, right before COVID happened?
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. It really makes zero sense if you ask me. I mean, the only thing that makes sense about it is the fact that they stuck a bunch of money in the economy, and everything was just, woohoo, we're going to the moon kind of shit, and so here's where it peaked, right? So if you didn't make money here, I mean, I don't know what you were doing if you're actively in the market, but what you're seeing now is what we were talking about on that podcast, man. Like back in November, I mean, I was noticing that 200-day moving average starting to kind of bend, and that's what you're seeing. So we had the sell-off of the original sell-off, and you're going to have these little bear market rallies, right? And then the one thing I love about technical analysis, I love this shit, is that you'll notice that it really does mine these lines a lot. Like, look, as it came up, it really kind of hovered right here at the 100 and 200 day. And then here's June, right? June, we had that massive, we came down to 362, which is, I mean, a lot of people called that the bottom, and shit, for all I know, it could be, but I don't believe that. I still think we have some downside to go. I think we'll clear this, at least test it again. But here's the interesting thing. So July and August, I mean, look at this. I mean, it comes up and look what it does, bro. I mean, as soon as it touched that 200-day moving average, I'm not even kidding. I mean, it touched it and we sold right back off. So to me, this is it's manipulated as shit. I mean, people get very bullish. It comes to a technical level. The market makers, they're going to sell it right back off, and as soon as people get super bearish, they're going to run it up again. They're just going to keep doing this until a lot of these price to earning ratio equities. I mean, for instance, like I'm just going to use Shopify as an example here real quick. I mean, look at some of these tech companies, man. I mean, look at all this. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, you're talking, and they all had stock splits recently, but originally, I mean, this company was trading at fucking over 1,000. I mean, Shopify, but look at this sell off. I mean, look at Facebook. I mean, these are just the things when you start seeing this shit and you start seeing these layoffs start happening. I mean, that's when, and even Walmart too, which has been trading on the market forever. I mean, look at Facebook. I mean, look at that, bro. That's a huge sell-off. So that's a massive sell-off. I mean, Facebook's lost over 50% of its value. It's one of the largest companies. It is. But, honestly, it was bound to happen when everything is just trading at these all-time highs like that. And so it's finally, these things are coming back down to these reasonable levels of, and at least in my opinion, a lot of it. The only one that's really being stubborn is Apple. I mean, look at Apple. I mean, here it topped out right here, and then as everything else is getting crushed, like it almost came back to its all-time high, even right here, like what 3 weeks ago. So Apple's the only one. I think Microsoft maybe, but Apple's a beast of a company. I mean, they're worth $2.48 trillion in market cap, bro. So it's crazy to see, but I just, I think this was bound to happen. It really reminds me of, I mean, here's the NASDAQ. I mean, look, I mean, this is a huge sell-off. It makes COVID look like a little bitch at this point. It really does. The interesting thing, and I know I've done this in the past, but if you go back in time, oops, that's why it was looking so weird. That looks more aggressive now. I was wondering why it looks so weird, bro. So that's what this is the NASDAQ since January 1st. I mean, here's COVID. So yeah, I mean, we're taking it's taking a hit. But if you go back in time, look at this. So here's just comparatively, like here's a dot-com bubble right here. So yep, this is the dot-com bubble. So I mean, this is more aggressive. I think the S&P 500 might make it a little bit more sense. So let me just show you this, but it's very comparative to that. This is a weekly chart, so this might make it more. Did we lose him?
I think we did.
Okay. Well, here, real quick, I'll just show it. So this is the dot-com bubble. This is 2008. And then look at this run up we've had since 2009. I mean, if that doesn't put things into perspective, I don't know what does. I mean, here's on the monthly, each candle's a month. That should put things into perspective for you people. So if you're wondering why your stock market, your stock portfolio is looking not as good as it was last year, there's your answer. So at this point, you might as well hold the fuck on. But I just thought it was interesting. And I was literally driving. I stopped at a gas station. I sent Daddystaxx. I sent I was like, bro, y'all got to like fucking jump on this and listen to this for a second. We called it. I mean, we were literally talking about it. And it's funny because that was 9 months ago. And it's interesting to go back and hear some of the shit we were talking. Because we were talking about these EVs like Rivian and Lucid and all the shit that was going on back then. It was just, it doesn't seem like that long ago, dude. And it's just crazy to see where things are now, And then you got, I mean, who would have thought this whole Russia-Ukraine thing? It's wild. It's wild. And I don't want to talk too much about all this market stuff. I just thought it was interesting. And there's a reason why I keep these episodes and so even the ones that we don't put out, I really think it's interesting to go back and listen to some of the shit we were talking about back then. It kind of blew my mind. But yeah, I mean, the market is the market. And I'll say this. And Two Oaks harped on this. By the way, Two Oak is my co-host for the show. He could join tonight. He's got some family in town or whatever, and so I was just dying to do him. But he's he was saying, "Oh man, I've like lost my train of thought now, dude. God damn it." Where was I going with that? Fucking
Two Oak said something.
Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't matter. So what do you guys? Off topic. What do y'all think of the new logo? I just created this shit literally like today.
I think it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I had the other one for over a year, almost 2 years, I think, man. It was, but I finally said, it's time for a change. Let's do this.
Let's talk. I got something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Daddystaxx. I mean, go.
I think we would. So I don't know. I mean, I think since we have Sean here and he's never been on the podcast, if you had to sit down and talk to Sean about anything, you'd probably want to talk to him about roofing, and you'd probably want to pick his brain, and you want to get an understanding of like what it's like selling roofs and how that works.
Well, I don't want him to spill all of the secrets out here on TIZZ Talk.
No, he won't spill his secrets, but
no, I don't tell no one my secrets. I even made Jared sign an NDA before I talked to him about anything.
Yeah, no, good for you. I mean, Jared's got a big mouth, man. Jared likes to talk.
Yeah. Hop on this podcast and tell the world.
Exactly. But no, I mean, for reals, I mean, he was telling me a little bit about it, and I don't know what you're comfortable sharing, what you're not, and I could go on and on. Me being a sales guy myself, but it is an interesting business. And I did hear Jared do some cold calling today, and I was like, dude, it's just like fucking cold calling in real estate. I mean, it is so identical. Like he got turned down by this one guy, and I was like, bro, it's the same shit, bro. It is so similar. It is. I guess if I had to ask you a couple questions, I feel like we should fucking roast him for being on the show the first time, Jared. I'm just kidding. But how'd you even get into it, man?
Well, I got into it because I used to be a contractor who flipped houses for investors back in 2012 to like 2017.
Okay.
And I thought real estate was the bee's knees, and being a contractor was my foot into the door to being in the real estate industry. But being a contractor is a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
And I started on these flips, so every flip got brand new floors, paint, brand new windows, brand new roof. I started to dissect where we made the most money on these residential flips. And it was on the roof, and if they needed windows, the windows.
Okay.
So I started, in addition to doing flips for investors, I had a separate entity that would market for retail construction. So
like commercial retail, like the retail centers and stuff?
No, not commercial. I was still doing residential stuff.
Well, when you said retail, I guess, what do you mean by that? Like
retail in construction, there's a couple levels of, well, it's like a pay grade. Your retail
so like the retail trader versus the institutional trader in the stock market, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So you have your investors, which are like repeat business, so you give them a good deal. Retail to direct to consumer, and then there's insurance restoration, which is through the insurance company. So you basically bill the insurance company.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And so you basically were able to, almost from the ground floor, getting into what you did, you were able to see kind of where the money is, in a sense, and then eventually you kind of transitioned over to that.
Yep. Put into a niche market and only did one trade, and then there was a hailstorm that hit the town I lived in, and it was the insurance companies were giving away roofs. So you have the highest profitable construction project on a house. Like, most roofs on the average house are $20,000 to $50,000, depending on how big a house and what type of roof. Like, the most expensive kitchen you could put in a mega mansion is like 50 or 60 grand. Now, let alone that roof on that mega mansion is probably 120,000. So, and it takes a tenth of the time to install and get it done.
And
so quicker turnover, more profit, bigger profit.
Right? Oops, sorry. Go ahead. My bad, man.
Oh no, he froze.
It's all good.
Shit.
Okay, don't worry about it. Hey, man, that's the beauty of being able to edit this stuff, because you can.
Okay. Cool. So since there's been a hailstorm or a covered peril by your insurance policy, the insurance company's paying for the big ticket item of your roof. So the insurance company was giving away roofs at $500 for a $20,000 project. Sounds like a no-brainer to just about everyone who you talk to, right?
I mean, you ask me, I wouldn't even need to think twice about it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it easy to make the transition to that?
There was a learning curve, because I was
Is that our cue to stop and
making a beat over here, bro? That's our cue.
So I think we had some technical difficulties with the homie Papa Smurf, aka Sean. He's just on the road out there in the middle of nowhere, so he'll be back and join us. But that was so far a very interesting thing to learn about the roofing industry. And again,
hey, so So let him continue what he was saying. He was saying some interesting stuff.
No, I know. I don't know exactly. You cut out at some point. I don't know where where we lost it at all, but we can just jump right back into it. You were telling us how I think you merged over to it.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah. So after being a retail contractor, just your normal guy who comes out and bids a project and offers some services, there was this hailstorm that hit. I was in Minneapolis at the time. And
I've been there. Minneapolis,
yeah,
cool city.
Yeah, and it hit like a good 25% of all of Minneapolis.
And when was this? How long ago was this?
2017.
Okay.
Yep. So insurance companies were paying for roofs left and right. And you figure, well, your average house is $20,000 to $30,000 for a brand new roof, and your insurance deductible in that region is $500, or the highest I saw was $2,500. So it's a steep discount on a once in a lifetime purchase that they don't have to pay.
Yes.
Seems like pretty much a no-brainer.
And do you have to have like a license to do this, or is it not like like real estate?
Most states you do have to have a license to be the contractor. There are a couple states like Texas or Montana, you have to have a license, but all that is going down to the state registering. You don't have to take a test or anything to be the general contractor.
Okay. Is that basically what I guess you are, as like from a title standpoint, as a GC?
No, I'm more like an agent.
Okay.
So like in the real estate world, you have your broker's license and your agent's license.
Yep.
I'm a sales representative, so I'm a sales agent, and I have to represent a company that has a general contractor's license.
Okay, that makes sense. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to do the whole continuing education bullshit that you got to do for your fucking agent's license, which is easy as shit. It's really not that much. It's
just a pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the fucking ass. It is. I mean, shit, dude. I fucking, as easy as it is, I still procrastinate and dread it every time. But well, that's cool, man. And so you've been doing this for what, like, at least sounds like almost 5 years now? 5 years. Cool, man. Yep. It's interesting, Jared's Daddystaxx over here has struck my attention, even though he's told me about this in the past. I think I was just so preoccupied with other things.
I was talking to Taylor about transitioning from real estate sales to roofing sales.
Well, okay. You figure the commissions are the same. They're close to the same commission size. But
I'm not going to bash on the whole real estate and me being in commercial. There is plenty of opportunity. I mean, the only downside, in my opinion, and with my experience, at least on the commercial side, it's almost like a quality game. The quantity game is there, but like it just takes so fucking long sometimes to just get paid. I mean, so you're not making anything, and so like it does get frustrating. I'm the patient person, at least these days I am, but man, I can tell you this, it just, after a while, especially if you have these gaps, I mean, it really does just like, and I'm not saying that doesn't take place in that industry either. It's kind of just how hungry you are, but.
Hey, Sean, I have two questions. The first is, tell them about how long it takes from the time you ink a contract or even do a first inspection somewhere to the time you get paid on a roof, and then tell them about how much success you can have if you treat roofing like a 9 to 5.
So typically it is a 6 month to a 1 year sales cycle. Meaning from the point that you get the contract, it typically takes either 6 months to a year to get paid in full. Now, there are some releases throughout the process, and every once in a while there's...
It's all good. We knew this was going to happen. So you said that his service is pretty good. I mean, it just cuts in that. You still there, Papa Smurf? You hear us?
He's hanging on for life right now.
Yeah, I know. He's got the lifeline on there, bro. It's all good. Well, he'll pop back, and he'll pop back over here.
He said he might have to call it because I think it's getting pretty annoying for him to keep having to.
And I don't blame him. I mean, this is also a conversation. Honestly, we can have just. Hey.
There he is.
I hear something.
He's back. He's
there
back.
We go.
Man. He's back, gang. He's back.
It's always when you're about to say some really juicy shit that it cuts out.
That's how it works.
I know, it's like we get to the punchline and it's just like yeah, but I think
sorry to all the viewers out there.
Yeah. So you were talking about the sales cycle, and you said it takes about 6 months, but there are releases, and then sometimes and then you cut out.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Sometimes, like one of my coworkers signed a deal in Arizona. It's an HOA. They've already released $6 million, and it's not even week 8. So it's a huge HOA, and it's probably going to end up being a $10 million project. But they've already paid for most of it.
Really?
Yep. So it's not unheard of, but that's the one-off of it actually being a quick sales cycle. But usually it's 6 months to a year.
And that's about similar to the real estate game, at least on the commercial side. I mean, and there are instances where you get a quick deal, or for instance, if you cut a lease or you're representing the company that cuts a lease and you represented the tenant, like you'll get half of the commission on the lease execution and then the other half when the lease commences, which could be a year apart. I mean, it really, It depends. So there's all sorts of ways and things, but as 100% commission job, it does, if you don't have that pipeline full and you're not putting it all in, I mean, you can go through some gaps that just can be very frustrating. But at the end of the day, I think it's all relies honestly on the individual. And I'm not saying that there's nothing. You could be hungry as shit and you just get bad luck. I mean, I don't know, but it is what it is. And it's just part of the sales game, honestly. I mean, that's just sales in general, I think.
Or if you're hungry as fuck and you're putting in the work 9 to 5 and you're not making sales, you need to find another job.
Exactly. And I've mentored, young guys and how to tell them this, and they didn't last, some of them stuck it out and they're still kind of hanging in there, but a lot of them quit.
Not necessarily find another job, possibly work on your trade, study the art of sales, the art of communicating and asking for the signature, because anyone can be a salesman. Not everyone can be a closer.
Yeah. Some Wolf of Wall Street shit, dude. You got to close that shit. What's that ABC always be closing? What's that movie?
Yeah. There's a book to that.
Oh, I know what movie that is.
Glenn Gary something. You know what I'm talking about. It's an old movie, I think.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but actually, let me look.
Sell me the coffees for closers.
Yes, or ABC always be closer. Yeah, Glenn Glenn Ross. That was the name of it. When was that made? That's an oldie. 92. Not that old. I just remember seeing it and thinking it was that old. But yeah, that was
It's older than Jared.
Jared, when were you born?
2000.
Oh yeah, dude. Fuck. Make me feel old. 86.
How's that make you feel?
Wait, Papa Smurf, man. How old are you again? Are you about my age?
33. I'm 89.
Oh shit. Okay, so I'm the old motherfucker in there. God damn. 86, baby. 86. Shit, dude. Well, that's cool, man. It's always interesting to hear about like these other industries that are, and the process is sort of similar, but Daddystaxx has been telling me, and it's definitely caught my interest, or at least caught my attention. I mean, a lot of things catch my.
Sean,
Yes.
what would you say in the commercial roofing industry? Hang on, Sean, can you hear us?
Just in the nick of time, bro.
Sean?
You'll be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Give him a second.
He'll be back. Yeah. He's kind of moving.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, this is funny. I
yeah,
love it.
So we were saying I was saying what do the top like 1% of commercial roofing salesmen make a year versus like the middle of the pack?
That's a big question.
I hope he got that.
If he didn't, we can ask him again.
It's kind of trippy.
Well, I was just looking at the back of his seat. It was like kind of like translucent. It's like, but he was staying still, so it's kind of cool.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
it. It sounds like an old 1992 dial-up as you're trying to get on America Online. Like,
yeah, I'm here.
No, we hear you.
We hear you. We hear you now.
Not hear me. Dang it.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
You're good. You're good now. You're back. You're back.
All right. So there was this woman, happens to work for a different company. She closed $34 million in sales. That's pretty much the top of the bracket there. And you
what
figure
is your
10 to 15% commission.
10 to 15%? Holy shit. So that's some big bucks, dude. Holy shit.
Yep. There's one guy with our company who closed $22 million last year. At 10, he's in a better pay structure. He gets about 15 to 20%.
Now, how do you kind of, I guess, either negotiate or kind of put yourself in these different pay structures? Because I know how that works in the real estate world. So
most of it comes from experience, and the more experience you have, you can negotiate for a better profit split.
What's the lower? Is 10% the lower end?
10% is the lower end. There's some companies out there that'll issue 8, but it all.
I mean that's still a lot.
It is. It still is a lot.
We get 3 to 4%, and as the value of the deal gets significantly higher, that percentage does get chopped down to.
But don't you also split it with your company, right?
Yeah, so you take in, let's just say you get 4%, the company's going to take, depending on your structure, you're going to get either half of that or your 60 to 70% or whatever, and then that's without taxes. So yeah, I mean, it ends up getting chopped up a lot. Like it is annoying. It's a fun business, right. But man, like, I'd give it up any day to take 10%, and then however that's split up or whatever. I mean, it's still more than 4.
Well, 10% of profit. Well, not 10% of profit. Sorry. No, 10% of gross.
Of gross, right.
Of gross, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it all depends on how profitable the project is. But most roofing projects are profitable in the range of 40% of gross.
Okay.
So that's 40 to 50% of gross. So you got $1 million project, and we get it installed for $500,000. I typically make $150 on it.
It's a nice takeaway, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Now.
And that's like one building sometimes can be $500,000.
Oh, on a commercial project, I mean, I feel like that you can hit that mark easy. I mean, if you get the right deal.
In the past 2 months, I've sold $4 million in projects.
What am I doing? what am I doing over here, bro? Like, I don't
He's
know.
chilling. He's living the life. He's living the van life. He's traveling around the world. He takes 2 month breaks at a time, and in the past couple months, he's closed 4 million. I mean, that's the dream.
And I would imagine
Now,
your spending habits can't be too much when you're out on the road like that. I mean, what are you gonna spend it on? I mean, I guess you can buy a bunch of toys and shit. But unless
cocaine
you're
and hookers.
going cocaine, I was gonna say the strip club might come into play a little bit here, but what that dude. Hell yeah, man. More props to you, brother. I think it's awesome to always, first of all, hear these kind of stories. And it's also, whenever you can see some kind of opportunity. I mean, dude, like that's awesome that you kind of started from the way you told the story, from kind of getting your foot into going into real estate and then kind of saying, well, fuck that. Like, this is where the
Yeah,
money's at. So that's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
No,
awesome.
I was breaking my back at 100 hours a week, flipping, doing at least 3 to 4 flips a month for investors, and then trying to save up money and buy my own shit.
Hey, TIZZ gang, and I tell you, this guy is literally just driving around the country right now doing a podcast, and he's fucking slinging roofs. It's fucking dope, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, my dream would be to have this podcast be my income, but it's just fuck. I mean, I was definitely behind the curve on that. At the same time, I was also ahead of the curve because I did start this in 2019 before the COVID lockdown. Because once 2020 hit or the lockdown started, everybody's got a fucking podcast now. Everybody's got
yeah,
a podcast. So I was
yeah.
able to build some listenership and get some loyal fans at the same, before all
But
that. It's still not, it's nothing, right? It's peanuts. It's peanut.
uh,
It's nothing. I don't make any money off this. I do this because I love it.
uh, I got a piece of advice for you though.
What's that?
Get rich
I'm
or
all
famous,
ears.
and then your podcast will blow up.
That, or I need to get some really famous people on this show all the time. But
Oh, awesome.
I just I don't know. This is sort of like a therapy to me in a sense. Like I just like talking into a fucking
Hey,
microphone
tell
and
him
shit.
tell him who you had on the last episode. See if he knows who that is.
So I got a I got a buddy. So he's been an actor for quite some time, but he does a lot of other things. And we had him on the show back in June, I believe. And so his name's Scotty Jeffries. So you probably don't know who he is, but he was in that movie Machete. Did you ever see Machete?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the
Okay.
movie.
Okay, so he was in Machete. He was one of like the bodyguards of the bad guys or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like a huge role, but anyway, he's also was in Friday Night Lights as one of the lawyers. I mean, he's been in some stuff, but he's also doing some other things, and I'm helping him do some business stuff. I'm doing the real estate side of it. But me and him just kind of hit it off, and I showed him my show a while, probably 2 years ago, and he was just like, "Man, this is awesome. You got to keep it up." Just kind of pushing me to keep doing it. I was like, "Dude, you need to get on the fucking show." So we got him on. That was the last one we did, or the last posted episode we did, because the last one me and Daddystaxx did is just not postable because I think I had just one too many IPAs that evening. Um, just a little bit, but it's saved. We always go back and make fun of my drunk ass. Just don't drink in podcasts, I guess, is the rule of the story there, which I've drinking almost on every single fucking podcast. But yeah, man, that's cool, bro. I mean, it sounds like you're living it up, bro. Living it up. I love to hear these stories, and I always love having interesting guests on the show. I mean, because we talk about all sorts of shit. There's no structure here, so it's it's always cool to hear this other stuff. And I mean, any of the listeners probably would get a kick out of this. And who knows, man? Maybe they'll be your new competition. That's what I wanted to ask you. That's what I want to ask you. What's the competition like?
It's cutthroat as fuck.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean,
There's
that's just like any other.
yeah. You know how many real estate agents there are? There's
Dude, I don't
just as
even
many,
want to
if
count.
not many. There's just as much, if not twice as many, roofing sales guys, and most of them want to go sell the big jobs, but most of them don't, because
Right.
it's quite frankly, residential stuff is low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And no one wants to wait the long term it takes to get paid in full, so they'd rather go stack up a bunch of little ones.
The similarities are crazy as far as being an agent in real estate, whether it's, I guess, commercial or residential. Because I was on Discord and I was Daddystaxx. He was like, "Hey, check this out. I'm going to make a cold call. Listen." And like I listened to him, and the guy's like, "No, no, no, we're good. We already had a guy. We already had multiple groups come out and look at the roof or whatever." And the guy just kind of shut him down a little bit. And I was like, I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, dude, this is so identical to cold calling real estate. I was like, because you're selling a service that's free to them and they still don't give a shit. Or they just don't care, and they've already got the competition.
The problem is that guy wholeheartedly, unless he's had the roof replaced, definitely has damage, because there's not been one property that the whole team of Restore Masters people who have been over there have not seen damage at. There was a tornado, a hailstorm last year, and there was a hailstorm a month ago.
Yeah, but he was saying that he had already had like 3 groups come by and look.
Yeah, but the thing is they don't know what they're looking for, and they don't know what they're doing.
The roof is still on there.
So. Yeah, they don't know any better. They're like, "Oh, we already had 3 guys." And Daddystaxx kept trying to sell it, and the guy's like, he's like, "I appreciate the call," and then and he's like, "But he's like, I got other things I got to do." Like, well, and he kind of exercised basically till it was just exhausted, and the guy just wouldn't have it. And I've been there, and I get it. I mean, I didn't really have any pointers to give him, because at the end of the day, the guy was like, over it.
I tried.
You can circle back on that one.
I kept asking the same question different ways. I did it like 4 times.
But that's what you have to do. I mean, you have to.
My rule of thumb is ask for the close 5 times.
There you go.
You gotta ask for the close 5 times, otherwise you didn't actually try.
Yeah, and something I've learned in being in sales.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing. You have nothing to lose. It's not going to hurt. And what are they going to say? No, again and again. I mean, it's not going to hurt you. You just move on to the next one and circle back if you want to. But one thing I've learned over the time I've been in sales, at least for real estate, is like I've always tried to find these unique situations that maybe they are not aware of. But when you kind of bring that to their attention, they're like, "Oh shit, I never thought of it that way," or whatever.
Quick question. How often do you put together your pro forma before getting engaged in order to try and close the deal?
What do you mean by that exactly?
He doesn't represent buyers and sellers, though, so he doesn't use pro formas. He represents tenants on leases.
Well, I represent, for the most part, tenants or buyers, yeah.
So in your role, there has to be some sort of legwork that has to happen either before or after you get a contract to sort of prove your worth, right?
Oh, okay. I follow you.
How often do you put together your work product and then bring it to the client before getting the sale?
Oh, every time. It's almost something that you just have to do. I mean, like we offer, to put together once we get them on the phone and kind of figure out what their pain points are, like what, hey, is the space working out for you? We've helped many other clients, whether if you need to if you need more space, if you need to downsize, if you need additional space along with the space that you currently have, we'll put together a whole market survey, kind of show them what's available with the pricing and all of that, and which takes a little bit of time. It's nothing crazy, but we'll put that all together into a deck and do that for free, and at least show them, hey, look, we have access to this information. We're very versed on the market, and here's a whole report in a very quick way so you can understand it in a sense without having to say too much of what's taking place in either the office market or the industrial market or whatever it may be. And typically, they're thankful. They'll look at it, and if they don't have a relationship or they just don't know, I mean, they'll usually bite on it. And sometimes those things, like, okay, yeah, I let me look at this. I like what I'm seeing. They'll pick out a few of these properties maybe that you've showed them, or at least it opens the conversation more to what they really want, or what they really are trying to achieve. And then you kind of just go from there. And that's it. Sometimes that's not enough though, and you could do all that and they're still just like, nah, we're good. Or they'll take that information and they'll run with it and do it on their own, which is the most
Sounds
annoying thing.
sounds a lot like roofing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And I'll end at least that portion on this. Like, so one thing that I kind of found, especially when I was calling on the office market before this COVID shit, because the office market's just fucking shit right now. It's so bad. Is I was able to get information on CMBS data, which is commercial mortgage-backed securities. So, like for instance, if I was calling on office tenants and I kind of knew that I was able to get information that potentially their lease was coming up, they were a giant tenant in this building. I was able to get information through a Bloomberg terminal or some other avenues of their landlord's debt on the building. And since they took a significant amount of space and their lease was potentially coming up, my pitch, don't steal this from me, gang, I swear to God, was, hey, we pitch them at first, but then we kind of go at them like, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but you guys are one of the largest tenants in the building. Your lease is, to our knowledge, at least coming due within the next couple of years or so. And did you know that the landlord has a commercial mortgage-backed security debt of this amount on the building? And if you guys were to leave, they're going to have issues paying this balloon payment that's potentially going to be coming up sort of around the time your lease is coming due. So you got a lot of leverage if you plan on staying put, at least, and so a lot of people haven't pitched that way. And that definitely got a CFO's attention, because at the end of the day, a CFO, because that's who I always target, is always thinking about the dollar amount at the end of the day. And so that was a good pitch point that we had. It doesn't work as much right now, just given the state of the office market, but that was a hell of a way to get in the door with some of these bigger office tenants, at least prior to COVID. So that's what I meant when I said, like, you got to just get creative and, find ways to get their attention, almost make it seem like a sense of urgency, leave a sense of urgency on the table that they might just not know about. Yeah, it's sales. It's sales. It's at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, getting creative, man. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure, but
you got to prove your worth to somebody,
Yeah. I got a friend who's in the commercial real estate sector as well. He started to target leasebacks.
Yes, so sale leasebacks. My favorite thing to go after, because you can get paid on both sides of the transaction. It's great.
Yep, and capitalize on the high market that's about to collapse.
Yeah, and
while it's high.
You know what sale leaseback or the sale leaseback situation is, Daddystaxx? Are you familiar with all that?
Yeah, so let's say like somebody owns the building that they're in, they sell it, and then they lease it back from the new buyer.
Exactly. So in those situations, not every time, but in those situations, potentially, if you solidify the deal and get it done, you can potentially get paid not only on the lease, but you can also get paid on the sale. Now, it doesn't usually work that way. It's kind of like you pick the best avenue, what's going to pay you out more. But there are times that I've heard stories of, guys getting lucky and getting paid on both. I've only been paid on one side of those transactions when I've done it, but those are the best to go after, because like some of these owners, they don't know that they can do that. They have no clue that they own something, and holy shit, I can sell it and then lease it back to free up capital so they can expand their business or do whatever the hell it is that they want to do. And another thing is even if you're calling on a tenant and they lease a shitload of space, it's like, hey, look, you can restructure your lease today. I don't care if your lease expires in 4 years from now. You can restructure it now, add some term on the back end. And as a broker, you will get paid for the additional time of lease term that they tack on the back end. If they're taking a shitload of space, I mean, that's money in your pocket. And a lot of these owners or tenants sometimes just are not aware. And so it's, as a salesperson, good to educate them. And
I mean, dude, it's like an NFL player renegotiating their contract,
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could apply this to a lot of different things, but I'm just so used to the real estate aspect of it. But yeah, well, this is cool, man. This is dope. It's dope, as they say, But anyways, well, what's that?
The reason I asked how often do you front load all your work product? Because if that deal that Jared was calling is juicy enough, heck, I'd go check it out for free. See if the other roofers that showed up are actually just dumb, and then go pitch it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And sure enough, what happened today?
Yep.
What happened today?
Jared got a lead on a project that's north of $4 million.
Oh yeah. You were telling me about this, or you mentioned it to me.
And well, it has damage from last year, but they didn't ever file the claim. They didn't file a claim, and they had hired some siding guy out there to go make repairs and some local contractor to patch the roof, where the insurance company would pay for a full replacement on all of it.
How long of a period of time can go by, if a storm came through and damage was done and they never filed a claim, like, will the insurance company accept this?
Each state has a different statute of limitations.
Okay.
And then the insurance policy can dictate that. And depending on which state you're in, the state legislation will trump the policy, or the policy will trump the state. But
okay.
On average, it's 2 years for commercial, no matter where you're at.
2 years.
Mississippi, it's 3 years. And Missouri, it's 5.
So you can basically call on some of these properties or these owners, and even if a storm didn't come by, I mean, you could just go back and look at history and just say, hey, just see if they even filed a claim. I mean, shit, there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
That's hey man, that's sick, dude. I love to hear this shit, man. I mean, take advantage of it, bro. That's awesome. To me, it's just shocking that you still go through these insurance companies, but y'all can still make those types of commissions. It's pretty cool that's even it's achievable for the amount of commission you guys are talking about. I mean, that's a lot.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I can hear you guys. Jared's blinking.
Well, while he collects his thoughts, his game. So there's some other things, obviously, Daddystaxx, I want to kind of just run through at some point. We can when we restart, but it's just too funny to hear on the while he still hears this. Hold up here.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, Sean, we're about to blow your mind with the next segment.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what to call this, but have you ever been on? I know Daddystaxx has, and have you been on Twitch, bro? Have you seen some of the shit that is just out there on Twitch? Some of these.
Only time I've ever been on Twitch was last time I was talking to you. Wait. I dated a girl who streamed her video games on Twitch.
Okay, so I'm new to this Twitch shit. I'm talking like a week, not even. So I got on it because one of the guys I follow on YouTube for stock stuff, he started putting his shit on Twitch. So I said, fuck it, I'll follow him on there. So when I get on Twitch, some of the first stuff I start seeing, bro, it's these. First of all, there are these girls that play video games, and there's a lot of guys play video games. There's all sorts of stuff, but I'm like, I start to see a lot of the same things, and it's these girls, 20s, good looking, I guess, and they're literally they're in their room. They have these crazy lights, and we'll share a screen, guys, to show you. But it's wild. They literally are just in their little room, the little studio, whatever they want to call it, with mini hot tubs in their room, and they're in bikinis. and they're just legit standing in front of a camera talking to their audience on Twitch for hours and hours and hours and hours.
They're licking that ear mic.
So I was gonna get to that part. I was gonna get there because I didn't see all that right away. But so basically, I'm sitting there just kind of scrolling through Twitch, and I'm just like, I'm almost blown away and in disgust because, and I had to share this to Daddystaxx and some of the other guys on our Discord channel. I'm like, bro, have y'all seen some of this shit that is just on Twitch? Like, this is what's out there. Like, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share the screen to show. If you aren't aware, this will make you aware of what the fuck is going on Twitch right now. So hold on a second. Here we go. Let me do this because it is
live.
It's basically the new version
Twitch
of
is live.
PG-13 cam girls is what it is.
Basically.
Yep.
Basically, yeah. I mean, here, look. So check this out, bro. Like, so I'm like, I'm going through. I'm just like, well, what is this, right? And for instance, and I'll just go ahead and this person's got over 1,000 people currently watching. Look at this. So hold on. This is what they do, bro.
No, go to the other one, the redhead, because she's licking the ear thing.
Well, I'm about to get there. Hold on. So, anyways, I just. Like, but the funny thing is look, so I get out of this.
No, the jellyfish are not real.
No, the jellyfish are not real.
There's no
hold on.
cruelty here. The jellyfish are not real.
Hold on.
I repeat, they're not real.
So let me go here. 7.5 million. Okay, so this is the girl I saw on a Vice video. This is what they do. I mean, this is what they fucking do.
For the host.
Yeah.
So and a lot of them, like, if you subscribe, they'll like write your name, your screen name, like on their skin. I mean, look at this shit, bro. Like it's almost disgusting to think about it. Like, how many people? There's 7,000 people currently watching this video live.
What timing though?
Fucking ridiculous. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to turn away.
I mean, right? I mean, that's why I kind of clicked it. But like, look at this, dude. It's like. So this particular girl is the one that was on the Vice video, and she makes $2 million a month. A month, bro.
What the fuck?
48 million to do this. To do this. So, TIZZ gang. All I can do is laugh. This is what the world has come to right now. This is what she is literally calling.
What the fuck?
So this is what COVID did to us, bro. So wait, I gotta show Papa Smurf the other thing, Jared. It's like, as I kept scrolling, bro. So check this out. This is where shit got really disturbing. So I came over here and I go to ASMR, which I forgot what that stands for. Hold on. It doesn't matter. I'm clicking it. So check this out. This is some disturbing ass shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Do you hear this? These are ear look-alike microphones that when they lick the right ear, it comes out of your right speaker. When they lick so these girls, I've seen these girls plenty of times on Twitch, like as I'm scrolling through. This is all they do. They sit here and they lick.
That is so fucking weird.
It's so weird, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on?
How did you even come up with this idea to know that people would actually subscribe to this shit? And then, on top of that, they get tips in addition to the subscription.
The only conclusion I have come to is that this is what COVID has done to us. to a lot of America. Or I guess it's really like Australia, America, like United Kingdom, like Europe. It's really just a lot of white people. Bro, I'm sorry, but like this is just insane. And so like I just was like, bro, we have to go through this and just at least show the people like what the fuck is going on out here, because this is insane. I mean, these girls literally. I kid you not. And I've been watching Twitch for like a week now, just kind of like aimlessly kind of looking at some of this dumb shit. This is all they do. They don't talk. It's like, bro,
How many
come on.
subscribers do they have?
Good question.
Total subscribers.
These girls have, well, there's 222 watching. That's not a lot. Let's see. They have, how do you find that out?
I don't know. Sometimes they'll show their sub count. Sometimes they won't.
Well, either way, I mean, it's probably like over 1 million, you know? Okay, I've had enough of that.
Yeah.
So that sound just gets disturbing every now and then. It's disgusting. So, anyways, I couldn't help. I was like, bro, like I had to show it to Daddystaxx. I showed it to some other people. I was like, bro, look at this, right? Like it's just that's where we're at, man. Like that's where we're at right now, guys. I thought there was some dumb shit on YouTube, but people pay for this. People fucking pay. I mean, these girls make so much money. I mean, it's like, I mean, shit. I guess more props to them in a sense, but dear God, bro, like I could never do it. I couldn't do it. Like I could never pay that, and not only that, like I don't even know. I guess I could say I could do it. I guess I don't know, man. Like if you're gonna make that much money,
if you were making some money, you could probably do it.
Money's the root of all evil. It'll make you do all sorts of shit, won't it? I mean, Jesus, dude, it's insane. It's insane. I don't know, man. Again, we didn't really have a lot of structure for the show. That was one of the things I want to talk about. So, guys, if you get on Twitch, just be careful on what you click on, I guess, because it'll swarm your feed with it once you click it, So don't make the mistake I made, because I straight up, I was even telling Daddystaxx this like yesterday. I said, bro, I just want to put a camper on the back of my truck, because I watch guys on YouTube that do this stuff, and just build a bed in it and just fucking go. Just go, dude, and just I mean.
Yeah.
These days, I mean, you can make money trading off your phone if you want to. You can lose money, but you can do a lot of things by living out of your fucking car. And you really just have to pay insurance and just pay maintenance on your car to just keep going. You can just go fucking live out in the wilderness and shit. I guess you got to get some kind of reception. I don't know if you're going to be doing stuff like that, but it's always been something on my mind that I've wanted to do. And another.
Yeah, I think you should sell some roofs, man. I think you should go sell some roofs with Sean.
I'm telling you, bro, you guys caught my attention on it. I'm definitely thinking about it more than ever now. What are you drinking over there, bro?
Some white wine.
Some Yellowtail.
Some $2 Chuck.
$2 Chuck. Something else I meant to talk about this kind of when we were at the beginning of the show when we were talking about the whole Europe thing is I think I touched on it for a second, but this whole, Russia-Ukraine thing, we're all used to that at this point, but the whole Gazprom, gas pipeline that Russia has now basically cut off. And again, I don't like to get political, but I just think this is kind of like historical. That's why I was saying, like, it's kind of crazy that the Queen of England, she passed during this. The whole Gazprom thing. I mean, we Europe and the United States put sanctions on Russia and all this. Well, now Russia's kind of got the upper hand in a sense on their gas pipeline, which basically they've cut off the mainstream to Germany, and now they're talking about doing these energy price caps on it, which this is unheard of, man. Like we haven't seen anything like this at all, I think, since the Second World War, which none of us were alive for, and even a lot of our parents weren't. So it's like these are interesting times, man. And if this does escalate, and I'm not a fear monger by any means, but this could easily escalate into something, and I just don't know, man. What are your thoughts on this shit, dude?
I called it as soon as they shut down the pipeline. Like, well, Russia supplies most of Europe's oil and crude energy, and they're actually a hostile force. We've never had an alliance with them. They're not part of NATO. If we shut down our pipeline, they have the option to go hostile. And they did, because they can. And they want to. They want Ukraine back.
I know. And here's the crazy thing is you would have thought that the European Union or any of these other would have thought ahead and been like, okay, well, if we do this, then they can do this. I don't know. And also, I mean, Russia and Ukraine, even when Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union or Russia, they've been fighting for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I mean, this is nothing new to them. And it's just like it's getting a lot of attention because of social media. And I'm not saying it's right. I mean, Putin is a fucking madman, if you ask me. I think he's a smart guy, but he's also like, he's on some Hitler shit, dude. I mean, he's definitely like on some Hitler shit. And I've talked about this with Daddystaxx, but I like to get, because a lot of this news is kind of fresh, and I'm just curious. I mean, the market didn't react well to it at all when this shit came out. I mean, but the market's always the first to fucking react anyway. I mean, it always is. As soon as news drops, it's like boom, it's gonna sell off or run up, whatever. So dude, I don't know. I'm gonna just keep watching this shit, but it's wild. I mean, Daddystaxx, I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Are you guys talking about this in school at all? I mean, do they bring this up?
No, dude, not at all.
Really?
Yeah, not really, no.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be sort of a sensitive sort of subject. I don't know. And then you got the whole thing with Trump and the Mar-a-Lago fucking papers. It just seems like it's just one thing after
yeah, let's touch on that real quick because I haven't actually done any research on that. So
good call.
He has classified documents at his residence that they think he's going to release or something, or what?
To my understanding, and it just seems like it's something new every day. It's like it's not a subpoena, but there was like an indictment to go in, and they raided the house, and they were trying to get all these papers, and they had there's something about the papers being redacted, and I don't even know exactly what it's all about. I was just bringing it up, and I mean we can look into it real quick, but I mean
my girlfriend's mom could tell you every single thing about it, probably.
Okay. Well, here's a little quick blurb. On August 8th, 2022, the Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, the residence of the former U.S. President Donald Trump in West Palm Beach, Florida. The search warrant.
Who is this article by?
I just clicked on the first thing. This is just a Wikipedia thing just to get the rundown real quick. But it's got violations of the Espionage Act regarding unauthorized retention of national defense information, destroying or concealing records with the intent to impede, obstruct, or influence federal government activity, and illegal removal or destruction of federal government records. And in quotes or in parentheses, it says without respect to cause. It says later courts made public. What's up?
Why are they doing this to President Trump when he was given access to this and Hillary Clinton when she issued to it? The next question.
Good question. It's something I think I need to do some more due diligence on because this will probably give the rundown, but it's saying in a sense that and obviously this was all stuff that happened when he was, the president. Let's see. In 2021, the NARA, I'm not really sure what that stands for, to recover material or try to recover material. And Trump went through the material in his possession at the end of the year. Surveillance footage subpoenaed by the Justice Department in June 2022 showed boxes were removed. And you know what? We're going to go down the rabbit hole here. I guess I haven't done enough due diligence on it because this is a really, really, really long article. I mean, or whatever you want to call this. So maybe we'll have to check back in and get the full details because I don't have any kind of fact checking going on here. But to my understanding, it's basically there was some fucking crazy illegal shit that was going on, supposedly, that they're accusing Trump of doing while he was president. And he's doing everything in his power, to not have these things to be, abide in court in a sense, I guess, is what's going on. I mean, because if you listen to the news, they're going to tell you all sorts of bullshit. The mainstream media, you're going to have both sides of the story going from CNN to Fox News or CNBC. And it's just like, you really got to do your own homework on some of this stuff. And even still, are you even getting the full story? I don't know. I just don't trust the mainstream media at all. Like, it's all a big fucking hoax, in my opinion. But, who knows, man? I mean, they've definitely picked on Trump quite a bit. Over the past 5 fucking years or 6. I mean, who knows, man? I mean, he kind of brings it on himself a little bit just with his demeanor, but I mean, I am not pro-Trump or not, I'm not anti-Trump by any means. I'm not very political at all. I just think that this is just, it's crazy. They just won't let it go. It's like they find something else every time. Like this, they just leave the man alone. God damn it. Like, Jesus.
He's not the president anymore. Let him go back to doing his thing.
But he is. He's running again. I saw him do his campaign the other day. He was I think he was somewhere up kind of near where you're at. I think he was like in Indiana or something like that. So he was going out there doing his thing, So you hadn't seen him much on TV as of late until kind of recently. So he's out there doing it. So he's running. I think, didn't Biden say he's running again too?
Yeah, Biden's running again. He is on the campaign trail right now.
I mean, is he even going to be alive at that point? He's so fucking old, dude. Like, what the fuck?
And realistically,
did you guys see his speech the other day? Like, with the red lights and shit? Some Hitler shit, bro. What was that? Did y'all not see
it?
Oh, dude, I'll pull up a picture.
Dude, it went viral.
I watched it live for a second, and I didn't put it all together at the red lights. Dude, I'll just pull up a picture, okay? Like, look at this shit, bro. And just, it was like, bro, like, what are you doing, dog? Like, really? So check this out. Hold up. Where's the photo? Okay, here it is. Can I make it big? Oh, perfect. Here we go. Check this out, guys. Here we go. Screen share. Boom. And he was just like, he was just bashing on basically Trump and just any right wing.
He was just bad mouthing. He was saying that if you're a MAGA person, then you're a terrorist. Essentially, is what he was saying.
I mean, but this is some straight 19 fucking 30s, 40s, like Hitler looking shit. It was like, what's up with the red lights?
Yeah, it is,
bro. I mean, it's wild, and I don't know what he was thinking as far as the visual aspect of it, but it's
I don't
just
know
like,
either.
And this got hit on social media immediately. Like, I remember getting on like Instagram, which I don't even get on that often, and I remember getting on it, just like seeing all these like fucking memes or whatever comparisons. It's just like some Hitler shit, dog. Like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. It's crazy. So in the speech, he really was. I mean, Jared, he was basically just bashing on MAGA and all that shit, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's all he was doing.
Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't even a State of the Union. It was just like, I'm a decrepit old man, and basically, if you defy me, you're a terrorist.
Bro, it blows my mind. Like, I didn't really think much of it at first, but dude, it really.
I think. How old do you have to be president? Isn't it 40?
I think it's like 40 or 45, maybe.
I think there should also be a ceiling on how old you can be, and I think 70 is the number. You cannot be over 69 years old and be a president.
Well, Trump wouldn't even be allowed to be president at that point. I mean, Trump's like 75. It's hard to have
a political career that'll escalate to that level in that amount of time. That's the reality of it.
Well, that's the problem. That's the whole problem with the whole system is, why do we need career politicians, right? Like, I think that's not where we should be sourcing our politicians. I think they should be everyday citizens who are leaders in their lives and have the potential to lead a country and have what it takes to lead a country,
Well, then it comes down to who's going to back that person and get a financial bankroll in order to campaign and gain lobbyists. who's going to support your average Joe. Yeah. Unless you're just born rich or are a celebrity, it's going to be pretty difficult to have that much money and also that much influence.
Yeah, because
remember Mike Bloomberg? Remember when Mike Bloomberg ran?
Wasn't he running in 2020? Or wait.
Yeah, he was running against Biden.
That's right. Yeah.
And he spent so much money on that campaign that did not pay off.
I mean, I think they all spend a lot of money. I mean, look how many times fucking what's his name? Mr. Burns, Bernie Sanders, fucking Mr. Burns. He's fucking run God knows how many times, man. I mean, that shit ain't cheap. I mean, and Hillary, I mean, dude, it's wild. I feel like you see a lot of
Bernie Sanders is a career presidential candidate, bro.
He is. No, he is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like him and fucking Hillary. I mean, they seem to run a lot.
He would be nobody if he hadn't ran as many times as he's run. I mean, now everybody knows what he's like, He's kind of a figure in that world.
He's been senator, right? Yeah, he's been a senator for a long time.
Of what, Vermont?
I don't know what state he is. I don't get into all that, but
Vermont. But that's a forgotten state of the United States. Nobody ever talks about Vermont.
Is it forgotten? I mean, I don't know. I mean, who talks about I don't know, was it West Virginia or even when do you hear about someone talk about Idaho?
You get all your potatoes from there, man. You go to the grocery store, it says Idaho on the potatoes.
Shout out to my boy Jess the Success. He's from Idaho.
He's probably are you driving through Idaho right now?
I drove through Idaho today.
The top part, the real skinny part up there, or the
real skinny part up there?
Yeah. Well, I've been to Idaho. It's like when I've been up in Montana, Wyoming, like Idaho, we're snowmobiling and shit, and you're literally crossing state lines. Like you're 5 minutes, you're 1 minute you're in fucking Wyoming, and then you're going through the trees, and there's a sign that says you're entering Montana, and then you keep going, you get through Idaho, and then you kind of come out. You're right there in that little pocket, but they're all so close together. So I think we're gonna cut it, Papa Smurf, and what we normally do is we just kind of say a quick little peace out kind of thing. Jared's always got some funny shit to say, and then you guys say your thing, I'll say mine, and then that'll be it. And then the thing will be up probably tomorrow. It's like Daddystaxx, what you got?
All right, TIZZ fam. Listen up real quick, all right? You got a hot mom, and she's looking for a nice, handsome boy. Tell her to come hit up your boy Daddystaxx, because Daddystaxx will make sure that she's taken care of. And I'm like Allstate, baby, because she's in good hands. All right?
Did you just come up with that on the fly? Oh man!
Anyways, TIZZ gang. Hopefully we'll. No, I'm just playing around. I love my girlfriend too much.
Oh no!
But
all right. Well, I'll take up his offer. I need me a sugar mama.
All right, man. Well, Papa Smurf, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know we were very unstructured, but good conversation. I learned a lot just from hearing what you had to say, and I always just enjoy doing this stuff. You got anything to say, the TIZZ gang, before we hop off this evening?
I don't know. Let's see.
Put you on the spot real quick. You don't have to say anything. Hey, okay, motivational right there, bro. Find a way to get the paper, man. So I'll put the links for. What's up?
I want to ask him this so bad. I don't mean to cut you off, but Sean, have you ever had have you ever sold residential roofs and you've come to a house and there's been a hot mom that's home and she's flirting with you or something? Has that ever happened to you? Because I know that a lot of contractors get hit on.
Not since I've been in the roofing industry, but when I was a contractor, yeah. The key to that is wait until you're paid to flirt back. You got to get paid first.
That. Yeah, get paid first, then go ahead and you can take the risk there, because you have the money. The money's in the bag at that point. The bag boys. But so Zoom's gonna cut us off here in about 1 minute. So real quick, I'll put the links below for the audio format of this, as well as if you're listening audio, you can check the description to get the YouTube. I got the Bag Boys Discord server. No sponsors for this show anymore right now until if you want to sponsor the show, let me know. And then yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to try and make it more consistent. I know I say all this yada, 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 but I'll end it with this like I normally do. I know you guys fucking probably are so sick of it, but shout out to the Stiz with the silent invisible S. So holler at the TIZZ for honor, to getting honor, to staying honor. And if you can't come in her, come on her. That's all I got to say, guys. We'll see you guys next time, guys. I appreciate you being on the show, and until next time, guys. Peace out, Cub Scout.
See ya
Later.
It's the TIZZ Talk Podcast.